Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit more about this Tim Pool, Kanye West interaction where Kanye West walked out in the middle of a podcast. And a lot of people have differing opinions on this. And as is usually the case, people take sides. And I don't want to take a side on this because I don't think Tim Pool's on our side. I don't necessarily think Luke Rudkowski's on our side or Kanye West or Nick Fuentes or Milo Yiannopoulos. I think this is all kind of a psychological operation because they knew that we would be talking about this. As a matter of fact, it's not trending right now. It kind of goes in and out of trending, but Tim Cast is trending right now so that they knew, the social engineers and the psychological operators knew that we would be talking about this. So my question is, am I falling into the trap by talking about this? Should I be talking about something else? I mean, what do we talk about? It greatly interests me because when you delve into the subject of psychological operations and you know that the Edward Bernays of the world who've written books like Propaganda and what they say about the unseen hand at work and the mental acuity and the mental functions of people's minds and the way they respond and react, how can you not talk about this? This is part of society. This is part of what's going on in the world. And so because I believe truth fears no scrutiny, we should be able to talk about these things, even though it's something that they want us to talk about. But maybe we can talk about it in an avenue that's not beneficial to them, but is beneficial to us. And before we start, I wanted to briefly just read this tweet from Elon Musk that I alluded to in yesterday's video. He says, the Twitter files on free speech suppression soon to be published on Twitter itself. The public deserves to know what really happened. Again, do I believe Elon Musk is on our side? You know, if Elon, if you're watching this, I believe your push to get politicians to enact carbon taxes on us is not a good thing. I believe universal basic income is not a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing for all of us that you were voted as a World Economic Forum young global leader. I don't think Neuralink's a good idea, bringing that on the horizon. And I certainly don't think that government subsidies that have been piled on you during the course of your lifetime, making you who you are, lends itself to me believing that you're on our side. Now, if you've got a different argument than that, hey, I'd really like to hear it. But then again, who am I? I just don't think that you can become a billionaire and that billionaire is going to be on your side. I think that billionaire is beholden to forces that are far seemingly more formidable than we are. So no, I don't think Elon Musk is on our side by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. So I tweeted out today, getting back to this Tim Pool, Kanye West thing, I just said with barely any pushback at all, Ye, Fuentes, and Milo left the building instead of staying and driving home their points to a massive audience. I could care less if he's trying to convince Tim Pool. But Kanye West does have a message. He believes he has a message, and because he believes he has a message, he's appearing on podcasts to get that message out. And his message is, hey, I've been abused. And it just so happens that my abusers are this certain group of people. Well, if that's his argument and he's got proof for this argument, then who is Tim Pool to say, well, I just disagree with you? And I'm not going to ignore the fact that Tim Pool is condescending. There are a lot of people, and I'll read some comments under the last video that I just did. That's one of the reasons I wanted to make this video, because some people made some really good comments. But I'm not ignoring Tim Pool's condescending know-it-all tone. I mean, he seems like he had this condescending know-it-all tone instead of just sitting there and letting Kanye West say what Kanye West wanted to say. Instead of listening, just listen to the points of what Nick Fuentes says. If they hang themselves and they show themselves to be bad actors, then just let them do it. If they are white supremacists, if they are anti-Semitic, just let them speak what they speak. Now, if they make an argument that you can't assail, that's another issue, but let them speak. I don't know why he didn't just let them speak. I said, if you believe that your ideas are right and you want the world to hear them, which is why you do appear on podcasts, why not stay and talk? And what I thought would be interesting would be if, and I think I posted this also on Twitter. Yeah, here it is right here. What if when Tim Cass said, If you ask me my opinion, I'm going to have to disagree. Remember, that's when Kanye West said, well, I didn't ask you your opinion. What if he pulled out the red screen and just started reading line by line and said, hey, disagree with this, and then walk out? And then maybe it'll start a discussion. Hey, what is that red screen? What is that spreadsheet that he pulled up on his phone? How can I get a copy of this? Can I investigate this for myself? Because like I said, truth fears no scrutiny. You don't need somebody in your life censoring you, because when Kanye West gets censored, guess who else gets censored? The people who want to hear what Kanye West said. And that is the evil of censorship. Censorship is violence because it's forcing somebody who doesn't want to be silent into silence. And it forces people who want to listen to that person to not be able to listen to him. It's like, hey, wait a second. Wait, I want to hear what Kanye West has to say. Whether you disagree with him or not, whether you call him names, anti-Semitic, or whatever you call him, I want to hear what he has to say so that I can make my own decision and my own determination. But now I can't do that because you're trying to censor this guy. And that's the bad part about censorship, and that's why I got a real problem with it. And one of the main things is you shouldn't want to censor others because you yourself don't want to be censored. And you might think, well, I have good ideas that nobody can disagree with. Well, those people that you want to censor feel the same way about their ideas. So why not just let him talk? Why not just let him, and if he is going to hang himself, let the court of public opinion take over from there. But you know what ends up happening? The communist news networks of the world, the ABCs, the CBSs, and even the phone newses of the world want to shove people into the dustbin of silence so nobody can ever hear their voice, and all the while deriding them and defaming them and dragging their names through the mud. That's what ends up happening. And then you can't verify it for yourself because now it's nowhere to be found on the internet. Now you can't see it anywhere on cable news TV. All you can hear is one side of the story. All you hear is one narrative. And I think that's the kind of stuff that's pretty much got to stop. So what if Kanye West pulled up the red spreadsheet and started just reading line by line, and then let Tim Pool just continue to say, well, I disagree. Hey, hold on a second. Let me just go ahead and finish and just keep on going and keep on going, and then end it with, is this just a coincidence? And then just let them grapple and deal with that. But he didn't do it, and that's unfortunate. And I don't have a problem. People can do whatever they want to. He's free to walk out if he wants to, but do you think that was really the best way to go? I mean, if not for Tim Pool, if not for Luke Rudkowski, if not for the Timcast house, how about do it for the sake of the millions of people who haven't been exposed to this kind of information? And I'm saying this to, the likes of Kanye West and Nick Fuentes and all them. And another thing I wanted to show you was I don't think Tim Pool was being honest when he said this right here.
You went right into the anti-Semite thing. I think it's something that should be talked about. But if you start bringing this up, you're going to ask my opinion on it. I'm going to disagree with you.
You went right into the anti-Semite thing. Now, if you'll see right here on the bottom of this is the timeline of this Timcast video that was uploaded to his channel. That right there, what he just said was at the 18-minute and 28-second mark. Back here at the 3-minute and 20-second mark, Tim Pool said this. And this right here is after all the introductions, the introduction of Kanye West, Milo Yiannopoulos, Nick Fuentes, Luke Rudkowski, and the other guy at the table. This is after. What he's about to say right here is after that. Listen to what he says.
I'll just pull up this story from The Hill, which is from earlier today, 5 p.m. Pence says Trump should apologize. It's wrong to give anti-Semite a seat at the table. This, of course, is related to a dinner that happened, and I was wrong a little on the details. So a dinner happened. Nick, you were there. Ye, you were there. I just want to start off by how did this dinner come to happen? And
okay, so at the 3-minute and 20-second mark, who brings up the subject of anti-Semitism? Tim Pool. And yet at the 18:28 mark, he says,
you went right into the anti-Semite thing.
No, Tim. Tim, you went right into it. 3 minutes and 20 seconds into the beginning of the broadcast, you're the one who brought that up. And then listen to what he says here, because I think this is relevant.
think it's something that should be talked about. But if you start bringing this up, you're going to ask my opinion on it. I'm going to disagree with you.
I didn't ask your opinion on it. You jumped into it. I don't care about your opinion. I like your opinion on how we win an election, but I don't care about anybody's opinion, bro. I lost. They tried to put me in jail. They blocked $2 billion. I had, like what I told Farrakhan, I said, look, is it anti-Semitic for me to say his name out loud? Like I told the minister. Yeah, the minister. Like I told
Obama met with him too.
Oh, he was. Yeah, I mean the Jewish people allowed Obama to meet with the minister. So Farrakhan said, well, did he have the money? The contract for the next 4 years, if I hadn't done anything, would have been $500 million a year for 4 years. What I was fighting for was the IP, so my children could, I'm sorry, just sometimes I think about 7 thoughts at one time.
So basically what's happening here is Kanye West is going over a long train of abuses and saying that a particular people group are the abusers. And here's Tim Pool saying, hey, I heard you say it, but I disagree with you. Wouldn't it be kind of like, and I'm just asking this question and throwing this out there, wouldn't it be kind of like a woman describing 10 years of abuse by, men in her life, and then the person who's listening, well, yeah, but I disagree with you. Isn't it kind of like that? I don't know. I'll leave you guys to answer that question. So I just put on this last video, underneath the last video that I did, titled Kanye West Storms Out During Tim Pool's Podcast. Why? What do you think? Is Ye right? Should Pool have let him speak, no matter what he says? What questions would you have asked Ye? And I think that's pertinent. What questions would you have asked? And when you asked those questions, would you just have sat there and listened? I think it would have been a good idea for Tim Pool just be quiet and let Kanye West, Nick Fuentes, and Milo Yiannopoulos say what they were going to say. Or was Tim Pool afraid that it might jeopardize his channel for Kanye West to say what he wanted to say? Or could there have been a better option? Tim Pool has an off-platform live stream where he's got things that are uncensored. Why not just say, hey, we're gonna talk. We're just gonna talk here for 5 minutes. If you want to see this completely uncensored version right here, go to my, timcast.irl or whatever it is. Would you have just let him talk? Are Tim and Luke controlled opposition? Is Ye actually breaking free from the matrix, or has he become just another layer in the cogs of deception? Is he just another part of the psychological operation? So a couple people responded under this video saying, it's obvious Tim is more concerned about heading a large media channel than actually pursuing truth. Trying to straddle both sides will lose him both. I've never liked Tim Pool's channel. I have zero patience for people who cannot let someone finish their thought, so I don't blame Kanye West for leaving. Tim has to believe that he's the smartest one in the room when he really isn't. I got to tell you, I don't think I've watched enough Tim Pool to make that assessment. Does Tim Pool, is he pompous enough to believe that he is the smartest person in the room? And then how do you substantiate that kind of accusation? I don't know. I don't know if that's really useful to take that angle right there, because then how do you prove it? Accusation without substantiation is always the height of ignorance. This person says, I hate the censoring of people. If Tim was censored, he wouldn't be able to tell the world exactly who he is. In my opinion, if anyone has spent time watching Tim's podcast, you may come to realize that Tim is unreasonable and believes he's always right. So there's another person. It looks like we're getting close to, well, not consensus, but at least 2 people agree with that. Tim is a terrible interviewer because he's incapable of listening to someone without interjecting his own opinion, interrupting them constantly. He has gotten somewhat better over the years, but he has to be right. Christine says he left because his main point is that they're suppressing his speech, and then Tim goes on and suppresses their speech. What better way to show that you're not going to tolerate being suppressed? I just wonder, I think I asked down here, how exactly did Tim Pool suppress speech? And I don't think there's, what am I missing there? How did Tim Pool suppress speech just by asking a question? I personally think that would, and it's not that I disagree, it's just that I have to be shown. Sometimes I am a little bit thick-headed and, can't grasp what some people seem to be easily able to grasp. So I'm just asking, do you think that it was a measure of censorship by Timcast and Tim Pool and Luke Rudkowski and the way they approached Kanye West? I'm not sure. Good for Ye. Little Timmy tried to deny the obvious fact of a certain group's disproportionate power, and Ye is like, I'm out of here. Can't say that I blame him. And a lot of people are saying that. A lot of people are saying, hey, I would have done the same thing. And my question is, wouldn't it have been better if you just stood your ground and said, hey, I'm making this assertion, and now I'm going to substantiate it, and you're going to have to deal with that. Can't say I blame him. Someone who denies obvious reality like this is either delusional or isn't genuine. Either way, not worth your time. So I wanted to just kind of bring that to you. A couple of thoughts. I know this is a psychological operation. To what level, to what extent, and to what end, I'm not actually sure. Actually, to what end would be, number one, to relieve us of more of our freedoms, and number two, to relieve us of more of our time, the product of our timing, laboring energies, which is our money, which is the two functions of laws, by the way. When they write a bill and they create a law, men can't create laws, but they think they can, and then other men believe that they can, so that they fall in line. But the two purposes of a law is, number one, to strip you of your freedoms and to strip you of your money. And then that's a power and wealth that starts the power and wealth transfer. That freedom and that money transfers from you, the mere peasants like you and me, and goes into somebody else's pocket, and somebody else accumulates that power. And we all know that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So leave your thoughts about this Kanye West thing. It is very interesting on a psychological plane to me. And if you think it is too and you want to comment, please comment below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know, and don't forget to subscribe to my private email list through my website, highimpactflix.com, and I'll see you guys in the next video.